What is up, guys? I am live at Disneyland, streaming to you guys. Hopefully the stream stays with it. Did you guys know that Disneyland actually has no Wi-Fi? So I am strictly on my cell phone right now without the Wi-Fi. I'm going to be answering your questions. Hopefully this is going through when you guys hop on here. But have a good day. Today I'm post-call. I was on overnight last night and then left straight from the hospital. My wife picked me up. And hello, Eamon. And we came straight here from the hospital to Disneyland today to hang out with the kid. We just watched the parade go by, and I hate parades, but my kid loves them, and therefore I love the parade. So yes, interruption yesterday. Hopefully today will be all right. Good afternoon, Ahmed. I'm glad I'm your favorite. So today we're going to talk about effective study habits. So real briefly, hopefully we stay on this stream. But effective study habits. So a lot of times students come to me and they have problems with studying and they say, hey, listen, give me some study tips. How can I get better at studying? And I think the most important thing you guys can understand about studying is that anybody can study good technically, like in a box, right, for a day or whatever. But the difference between the students who get into medical school and the students who don't get into medical school is that they actually grind every single day, right? They're studying every single day consistently, and that is really the difference in getting to medical school. People will have a great quarter, and you guys will see this a lot of times. People hire me to coach them, and I'll look at the transcripts, and I can tell right away if they have poor study habits, because what will happen is one quarter they'll have straight A's, great student. Next quarter, straight C's, right? And it's like up and down, roller coaster. And what it means to me is that they have energy spurts where they study well, and then they take a quarter off, right? They burn themselves out. They study so hard that one quarter to get those grades that they take the next quarter off. And what you... Okay, I think we're back on live. What you have to work on is developing habits that you can actually sustain for the long haul. That's the difference, guys, is that consistency over the 4+ years of undergrad. And the way you do this and you establish good study habits is you make your life very routine. And a lot of people like to make things exciting and have no plan and just see what the day brings, but that's not the way that you are a successful student. Successful students do much of the same every single day, and they make it mundane. For me, my life is much the same almost every single day. So even yesterday, right, I was on call. Most of my post-call days, I'm either watching Beauty and the Beast at home with the kid, or I'm here at Disneyland watching Beauty and the Beast live at Disneyland. So either way, most of my post-call days are the same. When I get done with work, I get home, spend some time with the kid for about an hour, and then I get right on the grind to making videos, making content for you guys. In undergrad, it was much the same way. I was up every day at the same time, went to bed every day at the same time, went to class, right, the certain classes, the same time every day, and I created this habit loop of eating at the same time, sleeping at the same time, waking up at the same time, and study was just a part of my daily routine and my daily habits. And for a lot of you guys, that's not what you do, right? It's just willy-nilly, oh, I'll study when I have time today, I'll study when I have time this week. And as a result, you can never be really in a groove, and your body can never really function at a high level and say, okay, you know what, 3 p.m. comes, that's when my study is supposed to happen. And this comes from a kind of conversation. I had a coaching session last night, actually, at the hospital. When I was on call, we came and we did 2 hours. What's up, Jabari? We did 2-hour coaching session last night with a student. And this student has great GPA. It's a 3.85 GPA. He's a great student, and he'll get into some good medical schools. And what I was telling him is the only thing that'll keep him out of medical schools is if he's not consistent. And from talking to him, it was hilarious because he was like, oh, you know what? My study skills are good. I actually am great at memorizing, and it only takes me like a week to memorize stuff and get a good grade on the test most of the time. And I laughed at him because I said, well, then how come you don't have straight A's on your transcript? You're 3.85, you're doing really well. But I said, you're saying you can study and memorize everything in a week, well, most of the time. Well, the consistent student who has good study habits, the person who does really well in medical school, thinks beyond most of the time, and they say, listen, can I perform all the time consistently? That's the difference, right? Can you go all the time consistently hard and do well in all your classes? And it goes beyond just getting the A's in the classes, because you can have a 3.85 GPA, right, and still not be ready for medical school. And so what I want to encourage you guys to do is, even if you're doing well in your classes, look beyond just the classes to the next step, to medical school, right, to being a doctor and beyond that, and really work to every day to have all your study skills on point. So go beyond the material and say, okay, listen, I can get an A, yes, but do I actually understand the material well? And do I understand it well enough to actually help me on my MCAT? And so that's a big component that people miss out on for their MCAT, is that their undergrad was basically a waste of 4 years. It was them chasing A's as opposed to chasing knowledge. And if they would have just chased the knowledge, they would have been on point and been consistent for 4 years, and the MCAT is a breeze. And that's how you guys got to do it. So that's kind of just what I want to talk about today, is that don't settle for what you guys think is success. And most of the time, you should be having success all the time. It should be consistent, and if you work a little bit every single day, then you're consistent throughout. And another thing we got into last night was that he was like, yeah, you talk about how you study for 10 hours a week. I don't see how you did that. And I said, well, 10 hours a week sounds like nothing, but I did it every single week consistently without fail. I put in my 2 hours at least in the morning every single day, and all that adds up by the end of the quarter. Right? Some of you guys, you work hard for a week, you take a week off, right? I was just talking about how you work hard for a quarter, you take a quarter off, same thing. Work hard for a week, take a week off. Oh, bust your butt 10 hours one day, 0 hours the next day. It's consistency, a little bit every single day, and that's how you get there. So those are study habits, where you're a habitual studier and you repeat it on cycle every single day, every single week consistently. All right, so let's get to some of you guys' questions today. Yeah, exactly, Casey. Whatever your kid loves, you love, right? The parade. Yes, basic book nerd. The grind does not stop, even at Disneyland. Keeping it coming for you guys. Hello, everyone. I was just doing some flashcards for biochem. Saw the alert on my phone. Waste no time. Exactly. Perfect timing. Need some motivation while taking your midterm exam. Okay. So how do you schedule it? And I think that's a great question, because consistency comes from a schedule. And I just mentioned how my schedule is the same almost every single day. And it may vary whether I'm working or not working, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same thing. I'm in the bed, no matter what, the same time consistently. Even when I'm on call, I try to get my butt in the bed around 9 o'clock, so that way I can be up at 5 a.m. Now, I get woken up every hour in the hour probably when I'm on call, but at least I try to keep that consistent routine. And that's where it starts for you guys, is making effective schedules. And making sure that your schedule is the same day over day and week over week. It shouldn't change dramatically. If you're doing that, then you're not going to be able to set up good study habits. So schedule well. Actually, Ahmed, that's actually an outstanding comment. So Ahmed said, you have to master how to say no. And that is so true, guys. So many of you right? You're excellent at focusing when there's no other options, right? You're excellent at doing what you're supposed to do when there isn't something pulling you the other direction. And the real successful students are able to say that no, and to understand that, oh wait, you know what, I know I'm being pulled in this direction, I know someone wants me to do something, but I got to focus on me and what I need to do to be successful. So that's so key to success, is learning how to say no to other people and what other people need you to do for them and what you need to do for yourself. And that extends to your guys' significant others, to your best friends, and a lot of times people sabotage themselves because they make other people's drama their drama. So your friend's upset, they're crying, emotional about something, and then they say, listen, I got to talk to you all night, and they talk to you all night. The next thing you know, you haven't studied, or you're knocked off your schedule, and you're ineffective. So learning how to say no and prioritizing what you need to do to be successful. So great comment, Ahmed. Let's see. I do that, and I need to work on becoming more consistent. Exactly, Jace. Everyone does it. It's very common. That's why I laughed last night when he said it, because that's everybody, right? We want to do just enough to get by, but what you have to focus on is your next steps. So, hey, Dr. Pinesett, can you advise us on how to properly use a textbook? Absolutely, because I'm a big book reader. I actually were doing for my study course, The 5 Pillars of Study Less and Getting Better Grades. Our next webinar is actually the BOATS reading method, which is a method I developed for breaking down books. So we're going to cover that in excruciating detail. But the biggest thing I can tell you about a textbook and really doing it well is focus on reading well the first time, so you don't have to reread. You should not be rereading your textbook every time you read. If you're rereading, that means you're doing something wrong in your reading. So focus on reading well the first time, so that way you don't have to ever do it again. The other thing I'll say about reading that's really a real fundamental concept that messes people up is to take your time and read through the book organized. Don't jump around, because a lot of times teachers will assign reading out of order. I want you to follow the way the book was written, because it was written that way on purpose. So chapter 1 should go first, chapter 2, chapter 3. That's a big no-no for students who skip around and do all that stuff. So, but more detail on that